You are on Foreign Chronicles and we picked up 3 events of the year 1981. Je vais m'exprimer en français et Simon en anglais. On y va Simon, par quoi commencerais-tu concernant l'année 1981?
Remember we talked about the Iranian hostage crisis in the 1979 video? Well, the 52 Americans were finally released on January 20th, 1981, after 444 days of captivity. And that happened as Ronald Reagan was giving his inaugural speech in Washington, D.C., becoming the 40th President of the United States.
Qui était ce Reagan?
Reagan was a Hollywood actor who became governor of California and then President of the United States. He was a visceral anti-communist and a leading conservative figure, symbolizing the ideological rebirth of the Republican Party. Along with Thatcher in Britain, he advocated for a neoliberal economic agenda, free markets, low taxes, and limited government.
Et concernant sa politique étrangère, qu'est-ce que tu dirais?
The detente in the Cold War ended with the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in 1979, which we also covered in the video. Reagan's policies escalated tensions further with what he would call the evil empire, which was the Soviet Union. Under the Reagan Doctrine, whose final objective was the rollback of communism, the US offered financial and logistics support to every resistance and guerrilla movement that would oppose communist and socialist government in the world, with a particular focus on Afghanistan, Angola, and Nicaragua. The Reagan administration also significantly increased military spendings in order to make it difficult for the Soviet Union to catch up.
Merci Simon. Quel est ton second sujet?
In 1981 was created the Gulf Cooperation Council, or GCC, a political, economic and military alliance of countries in the Persian Gulf: Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Qatar, the EAU and Oman. It was initially created to protect these countries against Iran in the aftermath of the revolution, which we covered in the 79 video, and against the Iran-Iraq war, which we covered in the 1980 video. More generally, the aim was to maintain political and economic stability and to keep the Gulf freely navigable.
Si j'ai bien compris, tu parles d'une alliance entre l'Arabie Saoudite, le Koweït, le Bahreïn, le Qatar, les Émirats Arabes Unis et l'Oman. Et pourquoi précisément ces pays?
Well, the GCC members have much in common. They are all Arab Sunni monarchies. They want to counterbalance Iranians' influence in the region, and they are too reliant on oil exports for their economies. On the economic side, the GCC members created a custom union and a common market, but economic integration remains very modest in its achievements. In 2017, Saudi Arabia, the EAU, and Bahrain cut their diplomatic ties with Iran, whom they accused of supporting terrorism. In reality, Riyadh and Abu Dhabi never fully accepted Qatar's independent foreign policy and its relationship with Iran, a crisis that could end up questioning the very existence of the GCC, which, all in all, failed to live up to its potential. Today, Saudi Arabia seems more interested in regional bilateral agreements, especially with the EAU, whereas Qatar strengthens its relation with Iran and Turkey. Patrice, it's your turn. What issue do you want to cover?
Un sujet un peu moins politique, mais néanmoins extrêmement important. En juin 1981, l'agence épidémiologique d'Atlanta annonçait que 5 patients homosexuels à Los Angeles souffraient d'une rare pneumonie. On pensait, dans un premier temps, que seuls les homosexuels et les drogués pouvaient être touchés par cette maladie que l'on connaissait mal. On parlait alors de peste rose ou de cancer gay. Il s'agissait bien sûr du virus du sida, qui a été isolé en janvier 1983. S'ensuivirent de très longues années sans que l'on ne trouve de traitement efficace. En 1996, après 13 ans de recherche, on a enfin trouvé un traitement performant avec l'arrivée des trithérapies.
How many people are infected today?
Près de 37 millions de personnes vivaient avec le VIH en 2017. La situation étant notamment toujours très difficile en Afrique. Voilà pour l'année 1981, on mettra bientôt en ligne l'année 1982. N'oubliez pas de commenter et liker cette vidéo si vous l'aimez. Thank you for watching Foreign Chronicles et à bientôt.
À bientôt.